I imagine the title of this video has the word antagonist in it, which makes me imagine Kuroe Mayu's face on a certain website post titled Most Evil Antagonists in Anime, right next to Griffith, Johan, and Oikawa. If you're not terminally online, that joke isn't going to land, so how about I start over? Hi, fellow person who clicked this video today. I'd like to talk to you about Kuroe Mayu from the final season of Hibike Euphonium. Someone who, through almost no fault of her own, was forced to stand in the way of Kumiko and the entire club trying to achieve a gold medal at nationals. While Kuroe Mayu's introduction at the start had me believe she was just another good Euphonium player, this season makes it apparent that she was both conflicted and tragic. Despite her clear intent of wanting to stay out of the way, both through her words and her actions, she served as a test to Kumiko's truest ideals and her character. When I first came across Kuroe Mayu, or well, at least when I thought I understood her purpose in the season, I wanted to write her off as a plot device. One that serves to test Kumiko's ideology around the club. How does Kumiko deal with someone who's equally as good as her and also causes her to lose the Soli? Soli? Is that even a real word? Okay, it's the plural of solo. I still don't know whether it's a real thing or not. I'm just gonna say solo, and if that's a problem, just pretend I'm saying soli the entire time, alright? Point being, Kuroe Mayu is presented as a test to Kumiko, and I really wanted to write her off as just being that. Not only because she slots into that very role so perfectly, but also because her character beyond that was kind of unclear for a lot of the season. Her motivations always seemed a little suspicious, but when a little light was drawn on her past, it made me realize how tragic of a character she really is. Tragic. Yeah, that's the word I choose to use here because as much as she's slightly annoying throughout the season, or maybe overly cautious, looking back, this is the only way I can see her. Kuroe Mayu was forced into a role that she herself knew would be controversial and led to believe that this is what is best for everyone in the club. She found herself alone by design or by her own reservations, and even when looking for a real answer in Kumiko, she was only pushed away from her. Kitauji is a meritocracy. This was the poison served to Mayu. As someone who truly didn't want to ruin anything for her own selfish needs, these words were served to her time and time again by Kumiko. This was Kitauji's ideology. Even if Mayu understood that it could directly go against Kumiko's desires, at every turn she's forced not to feel that guilt by a half-hearted reassurance. Knowing about Mayu's past from episode 12 makes it all so much worse. She was literally fighting her demons to stay out of the way of everyone and just trying to exist in the club. At the very least, she needed to understand that Kumiko was okay with losing her spot for the bigger goal. It's that very reassurance that was never given to her though. Every time she would want it, Kumiko ran away from her without giving the answer she so desperately wanted to hear.
私が選ばれて嬉しい人なんて本当にいるのかな。いるよ。誰？部員全員。
I don't blame Kumiko on this either. Kumiko was fighting her own battle in the clubs of ideas and her own desires, and that in itself made it all that much worse. It's all the more apparent when rewatching the show just how ingrained this conflict is. Like, take the scene in episode 6 for example, where Mayu asks whether she should take part in the auditions at all. Whether such a thing would be considered okay. More importantly though, it's one of the many times Mayu asks Kumiko, are you sure it's okay? Every time Mayu asks about whether she should audition or whether she should be part of the band, it's obviously fishing for the reply, yes, it's fine because I want you to, from Kumiko, but instead all she's ever given are the words, yes, it's fine because Kitauji is a meritocracy. It's this very poisoning from this line that gives Mayu the permission to stand in the way of Kumiko's solo, by doing which she ended up standing in the entire club's way and ruining the vibes of the entire club. It's the exact thing Mayu so desperately wanted to avoid ever since she came in. Not only did she get given the impression that she should be part of the club or she should take the audition seriously, and even if she takes someone's spot, it's okay, everyone will be fine with it because that's exactly what Kitaoji's philosophy is. When she ended up doing those things, she caused the very unrest she didn't want to create. It can't be easy staring that feeling in the face, especially not after what we learn about her past. She had to believe that Kumiko was fine with it though, right? After all, it was Kumiko who gave her permission to take the solo away, so surely Kumiko is okay with what happened, right? Yeah, this scene in episode 9 especially hurts because it's exactly after Mayu takes the solo from Kumiko for the first time. Honestly, all the credit to the voice actors here because from both of their perspectives, this is a really tragic scene. I'm not going to risk playing the whole scene here, but if you hadn't thought of Mayu's perspective in that scene, I would highly encourage you to watch that scene again. It is a rather beautiful portrayal of how sad this situation is for both of them. Kumiko is Mayu's biggest problem. Well, kinda. I think it goes without saying that if Kumiko was certain in her own beliefs, if she was sure what happened in her first year at Kitaoji was valid and justified, and owned up to her own ideals even if they went against her desires, there wouldn't be any conflict at all. Kuroe Mayu was a test for Kumiko to decide what was more important. Playing the solo with Reina, or wait, is it Soli this time because they're both playing it? Anyway, playing the part of music with Reina on the national stage or winning a gold medal at nationals. Instead of understanding her own conflict and conveying that to Mayu though, Kumiko kept feeding her ideal-based philosophies into Mayu and never once thought about what Mayu herself wanted in those situations. Right until the final audition, she didn't figure out what it all meant, and instead it caused Kuroe Mayu to unintentionally become the tragic antagonist she ended up being. It really is a thoughtful case study of how something as trivial as inaction from Kumiko can lead to suffering so profound, and that's the way I like to see Kuroe Mayu, a truly thoughtful and tragic final antagonist to this fantastic show. The rewatch of the season didn't just open my eyes to how Mayu felt at many different points, but also just how purposeful this character's existence is in the season. It's way better than I expected her to be, and for that I am thankful to Hibike Euphonium and its author. I am a big advocate of rewatching shows you think you have an opinion on anyway, so I'll say it again. If you're one of those people that didn't like Mayu throughout the season, if you thought she was annoying, I would highly encourage going back through the season, watching the story again with the new perspective you got from episode 12, and who knows, maybe it might resonate more deeply with you this time around, or maybe you might end up liking her character. That's certainly what ended up happening with me. I hope this video makes sense, and more importantly, I hope it was as entertaining to you as it was to me making it. That being said, thank you lovely people for watching this video, and if it tickled you in just the right ways, maybe you could subscribe? Apart from that though, thank you all lovely people for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.